Mr. Chabot.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Secretary, the situation at our southern border is an unmitigated disaster, and I fear it's about to get a whole lot worse. With this administration's boneheaded decision to end enforcement of Title 42, you're essentially saying the COVID healthcare emergency is over. Come on in. While at the same time saying, nope, still got a COVID emergency, so we're going to force everybody to mask up on planes and buses and trains, whether you like it or not. Since he took office, President Biden has been busy reversing just about every one of the Trump administration's successful immigration policies, stopping construction of the border wall, ending catch and release, and practically abandoning border enforcement altogether, just to name a few of these misguided policies. The result, as I said, has been a complete and utter chaos at our southern border. Unfortunately, again, due to Biden administration policies, the chaos doesn't stop at the border. It's intentionally being spread all across the country. The Biden administration is putting illegal immigrants and asylum seekers on buses and planes at taxpayer expense, often in the middle of the night when it's not so obvious, and shipping them to communities all across the country. As a result, virtually every state in America is now directly impacted. Let's face it, we're all really border states now. Mr. Secretary, how many migrants have you shipped to Ohio, my state?
Congressman, I would disagree with the phrasing of your question, but I would be pleased to provide you with data with respect to the number of individuals.
Well, the question's pretty simple. How many have you shipped to Ohio?
As I mentioned, Congressman, as I was stating, I'd be pleased to provide you with data specific to Ohio subsequent to this hearing.
I assume your answer is here today, you don't know. Is that right?
I don't have the data with me,
okay.
Congressman.
I mean, because I certainly think the people of Ohio would like to know that, and in fact, I think it's their right to know how many migrants you're shipping to their state or by congressional district or others. After all, they're footing the bill for all of this, right? The American taxpayers?
Congressman, I'd like to again...
Are the American taxpayers paying for this stuff?
I would respectfully disagree with the phrasing of your question, but I think it's something very important to remember, which is individuals who are placed in immigration proceedings.
That's not the question I asked. I didn't. Please, we've only got 5 minutes each of us, so if you'll just answer the questions I've asked. You said, I can't tell you how many I've shipped to Ohio. I'll provide that down the road. Let's see if you actually do that. Now, the American taxpayers are footing the bill. The people that you're shipping across the country, they're being fed, right?
Congressman,
they're having their health care needs met. They're being housed somewhere. Their children are attending school, I assume. Who's paying for all that?
Congressman, you are mistaken in asserting in your question
that we're not feeding them, we're not housing them, we're not providing health care?
May I?
And it doesn't have to be paid for. I ask you, who's paying for this stuff?
Individuals in immigration proceedings are not entitled to the same benefits that United States citizens are.
I didn't say that. So, but they're not being fed? We're not feeding them?
Congressman, not to my knowledge do they receive public benefits.
So they're not being fed.
For food.
Okay. Let me ask you this. How many bus loads have you sent to my state, Ohio? Do you know that?
Congressman, as I stated previously, I will provide you with the data
thank you.
You are requesting.
So how many and how many bus loads? Okay. Let me ask you this. If you don't have the numbers here today, who has these numbers?
Congressman, we in the Department of Homeland Security have a wealth of data, and I would be pleased to provide you with whatever data you request.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
One of the hallmarks of our department is our openness and transparency, and in fact, it's one of the priorities that I have established for this department for fiscal year 2022.
You've been extremely open, and we certainly appreciate that. Mr. Secretary, where does the buck really stop here? Who do we hold accountable for the chaos at our southern border? Is it you, the Secretary of Homeland Security? Is it the Vice President? Because President Biden, we know, supposedly put her in charge of the border. Or is it the big guy himself? Is it President Biden? Where does the buck really stop?
Congressman, I'm incredibly proud to work alongside the dedicated men and women of U.S. Customs and Border Protection, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, and the entire Department of Homeland Security, who tirelessly dedicate themselves to the service of our country.
Thank you. We're proud of the folks that work there, too. We wish you would support them, though. We really wish you support. They want to do their jobs. They want to secure the border. they want to uphold the law, and you took an oath to uphold the law. And right now, when you got 3 million people coming over here in a short period of time,
Time of the
you're not
gentleman has
enforcing the law.
expired.
Yield back.
For the
Mr.
purpose of a UC request, Ms. Lofgren.
Yes, I'd ask unanimous consent that a New York Times article, GOP memo shows roadmap for attacking Democrats on immigration, be made part of the record.
Without objection, Ms. Jackson-Lee.